Iceland is one of the most beautiful countries you can visit. If you have the privilege of doing so, it will surely leave you in awe. And if you have already been, I'm sure you agree. It is a land of volcanoes. You may recall the eruption of Eyjafjallajökull in 2010, and also the more recent one of Fagradalsfjall. Excuse my pronunciation, but as you will see, Icelandic words are really difficult to pronounce. In fact, in this video we will teach you the most common ones. Iceland is also a country of such strange formations and geography that it is one of the main countries Hollywood directors choose to film their movies. Do you remember this scene from Prometheus? Yes, it's Iceland. This from The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is also in Iceland. This from Game of Thrones. Or this from Interstellar. Stay with me to discover these 100 Iceland curiosities. You will learn aspects of this country that can't be seen anywhere else in the world. Before we start, I ask that you give it a like. It really gives me a lot of motivation to keep making videos like this. Let's begin. 1. Due to its location near the Arctic Circle, Iceland is a great place to observe the beautiful aurora borealis. They usually start in mid or late September. 2. Throughout Iceland during the summer, the nights are clear and white, like a fairy tale. That means you can wake up at 12 at night, and if there is a visible moon, you can observe it in a day that seems magical and strange. It is known as the midnight sun. 3. During the winter is the polar night, and the sun is hidden 24 hours a day. 4. Icelanders celebrate Christmas on a grand scale. They usually dress in clothes with Christmas prints, such as reindeer or Santa Claus sweaters. And it is a time characterized by excitement and happiness. 5. This is a picture of Iceland in the middle of winter. 6. The first name of the country was Sunnyland, coined by the Viking navigator Nador, one of the first settlers of the faraway islands. 7. The capital city of Iceland is Reykjavik, the northernmost capital city in the world. 8. It is called the Land of Ice and Fire because 11% of its surface is covered by glaciers and 30% by lava fields. 9. Iceland is the second largest island in Europe after Great Britain. 10. These are traditional houses in Iceland. 11. In Iceland, parents cannot name their children as they please. They must choose from an authorized list of about 2,500 names per gender. 12. Surnames in Iceland are formed by the first name of their father or mother with the suffix son, son, or dóttir, daughter. 13. Hello in Icelandic is pronounced halló. Thank you is takk. Yes is ja. No is nay. Goodbye is bless. 14. The most common men's names in Iceland are Hon, Sigurdur, and Gudmundur, while for women the most popular are Gudrun, Anna, and Christine. 15. Icelanders are some of the tallest people in the world. Men on average measure 1.81 meters, and women 1.68 meters. 16. In Iceland, you can visit the Great Geyser, one of the most impressive in the world, able to launch boiling water up to 80 meters high. 17. It is a very small country with fewer than 400,000 inhabitants. It has more sheep than inhabitants. There are 600,000 sheep. 18. The cost of living in Iceland is high. A meal at a cheap restaurant costs around $40, a Coke about $3, an imported beer more than $7, and a one-room apartment approximately $1,600, depending on the area. 19. Elves, Huldafolk, or hidden people, have been part of Icelandic history since the Vikings first arrived on the island. Most Icelanders do not believe in elves, but a large portion of the population is not willing to deny their existence. 20. There are 4 Icelandic holidays that are considered to have a special connection to elves. New Year's Eve, 13th Night, January 6th, Summer Night, and Christmas Night. 21. On New Year's Eve, Icelanders light candles to guide the elves on their journey in search of new places. 22. Iceland is a magnificent place to see whales. They can be seen around the island, and in the northern fjords there is a permanent population. 23. The average salary in Iceland is around $3,600 per month, one of the highest in the world. 24. A typical Icelandic dish is hakarl, fermented shark. It is made from Greenland shark meat, buried with stones for months and dried. The final product smells of ammonia. 25. A century ago, all alcoholic beverages were banned, but soon after, all were legalized except for beer. Beer was legalized on March 1st, 1989. They say that due to this contrast, Icelandic men and women are strong drinkers. 26. The most famous thermal waters in Iceland are those of the Blue Lagoon, or Laguna Azul, a geothermal spa located southwest near the airport. The waters are at an average temperature between 37 to 39 degrees Celsius and are rich in silica and sulfur. 27. Iceland is one of the places where puffins, colorful-beaked seabirds, reside. But they are not only admired, they are also eaten. Even their fresh heart is eaten raw, as part of a traditional meal. 28. The Vestman Islands archipelago is home to the world's largest colony of Atlantic puffins. 29. Iceland has its own horse breed, the Icelandic horse, which is small in size. 30. In the Þingvellir National Park is the Silfra Fissure, one of two places on Earth where you can observe the boundary between two of the largest tectonic plates. There, the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates are separated. 31. The Þingvellir National Park also has historical importance, as the Alþingi, or Icelandic Parliament, was founded there in the year 930 AD, one of the oldest in the world. 32. The suffix foss in Icelandic means waterfall, and there are certainly some interesting ones in Iceland, like Rauðfossar, the lava waterfall, where the water falls directly from the interior of a solid lava field. 33. Dettifoss is a waterfall that is 45 meters high and 100 meters wide, with a flow rate of 400 cubic meters per second. Given that Iceland is considered a European country, this waterfall is the highest flow in Europe. 34. Reynisfjara is known as the Black Beach of the Trolls for its large basaltic formations. According to tradition, the three large stone outcroppings emerging from the sea would be petrified trolls caught by the light of the sun. 35. Among the most followed YouTubers in Iceland are Kaleo, the Icelandic blues rock band, or self-portrait photographer Sorella Amore. 36. Hafþór Julius Björnsson, one of the strongest men in the world, over 2 meters tall, is Icelandic. You may remember him playing the Mountain in Game of Thrones. 37. Anita Briem, Augusta Eva Erlendsdóttir, and Hera Hilmar are famous Icelandic actresses. 38. Iceland is the first country in the world to have made it illegal to pay men more than women. 39. Want to go to Iceland and save money? Hitchhiking is common among travelers, and Icelanders are used to picking them up. But be careful. If you're in a remote location, you could be waiting for hours and not find a car, or not be lucky and the few that pass by don't stop. 40. Icelanders are very hard-working people. Iceland is the country in Europe with the highest number of working hours. The average workweek is 43.5 hours. 41. Icelandic women have won the Miss World pageant 3 times, so they also have the highest number of beautiful women per capita. 42. The wind in Iceland is so varied that in their language there are more than 100 words to talk about wind. 43. According to Icelandic mythology, Grýla is a giant who has the ability to detect children who have been naughty during the year and comes from the mountains during Christmas to find and eat them. 44. According to Icelandic tradition, it is better to have received new clothing before Christmas Eve, or else the fierce Yule cat roaming the snowy fields will devour you. 45. Iceland is one of the countries with the highest longevity in the world, with 83 years for women and 80 for men. 46. In this country, there are around 48% women and 52% men, with an average age of 38.4 years. 47. Iceland's water is one of the purest in the world, so it does not require treatment. 48. All Icelanders speak English in addition to Icelandic, and also learn Danish, although they speak it little. 49. A genetic study of the population of Iceland indicates that the majority of the men who settled in the country were of Nordic origin, while the majority of the women came from Ireland. 50. Iceland has such icy surfaces that there are no conditions for the survival of ants. So this country is the only one in which ants do not exist. 51. Iceland is an island located on the mid-Atlantic ridge between America and Europe. Therefore, it has a lot of volcanic activity, with about 130 volcanoes, of which 30 are active. 52. Technically, from a geological point of view, half of Iceland is American and the other half is European. 53. Although it has only 120 professional football players, it eliminated England in the Euro 2016. 54. It is the only country in NATO that has no army. 55. The word duvet comes from eider, an Icelandic duck whose feathers were used to fill duvets. 56. The roads in Iceland are quite unique. The only one in optimal condition is Road 1, or Ring Road, which surrounds the island. As the number indicating the road increases, the worse it is. 57. Next to the Jökulsárlón glacial lake, you will find Diamond Beach. You will see a unique spectacle with ice floes floating in the river and sea, as well as large chunks of ice like diamonds on the shore. 58. It is one of the countries in the world where the most books are read per person, and almost all its inhabitants play some musical instrument. 59. The Hallgrímskirkja, or Hallgrímur Church, is a Lutheran church located in Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland. Its facade is inspired by the lava flows of the island. At 74.5 meters, it is the highest building in the country. 60. Only 23% of Iceland's territory has vegetation, and 14% is covered by ice. 61. Some rivers in Iceland flow indifferent to the cold, and that is because their waters reach 50 degrees Celsius. 62. If you visit Iceland, you should go hiking at Sólheimajökull, a glacier in southern Iceland. Between the volcanoes Katla and Eyjafjallajökull, you will walk on solidified lava surrounded by intense white ice. 63. A major tourist attraction in Iceland is visiting ice caves of glaciers and admiring the variations of light and color of the ice, from white to turquoise blue. 64. As is logical with so many thermal upwellings, in Iceland there are geothermal power plants which use the steam from the interior of the earth to generate electricity. 65. This is one of the best connected countries to the internet. You have Wi-Fi signal throughout the island. 66. Jules Verne was inspired by the Icelandic volcano Snæfellsjökull on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula for his novel Journey to the Center of the Earth. 67. In Iceland, they practice the Nordic nap for babies. That is, they are left in their strollers parked at the doors of shops, cafes, or restaurants to sleep, while their parents shop or have lunch. 68. The national flower of Iceland is the 8-petaled dryad, or Holta Sole, a shrub with 8 white petals and numerous yellow stamens. 69. The national animal of Iceland is the gyrfalcon. 70. Svig is a traditional dish of Iceland, which consists of a sheep's head cut in half, from which the hair and brains are removed and it is boiled. Sometimes it is cured in lactic acid. 71. Iceland's favorite dessert is ice cream, especially bragðreyfur, a mixture of ice cream and candy and options to choose from, such as crushed candy, cookies, licorice, fruits. 72. At Skogafoss, a waterfall located on the Skoga River, there is a legend that the first Viking colonizer in the area buried treasure in a cave behind the waterfall. If you happen to see it when you take the handle of the chest, it disappears. 73. On the beaches of Itritunga in the south of the Snæfellsnes Peninsula and Hitanes in the West Fjords, you can observe seals. 74. Near Toknafjordur in the West Fjords, you can find the natural hot springs of Polarin. You can enjoy them for free, as they are maintained by the residents of the town without asking for anything in return. 75. On the shores of the Skutusfjordur Fjord in the city of Ísafjörður, you will find the Heritage Museum of the West Fjords, with a permanent exhibition in one of the oldest houses in the city. 76. Iceland's most famous sculpture is in its capital, Reykjavik, and is called the Sun Voyager, designed by Jon Gunnar Arnason to commemorate the city's bicentennial. It is a steel sculpture that resembles a Viking ship. 77. The longest street in Iceland, and one of the oldest, is Laugavegur, in the center of Reykjavik. It measures 2 kilometers, and its name means Water Street, as it used to be the path to the hot springs to wash clothes. 78. In Iceland, new waterfalls appear periodically due to the melting of glaciers. Until 2007, the Glimur waterfall, at 197 meters high, was the highest in the country. But in that year, another one, Morsarfoss, appeared at 228 meters. 79. In Reykjavik is the Perlin Natural History Museum, which has an impressive glass dome. They have even recreated a glacier cave inside, with sounds, ice, and at 15 degrees below zero. 80. Icelanders love to practice sports, such as football, basketball, volleyball, and horseback riding, but the national sport of Iceland is actually handball. 81. In Iceland, there are only 7 species of terrestrial mammals that live in the wild: the Arctic fox, the reindeer, the mink, the field mouse, the house mouse, the brown rat, and the black rat. 82. In Iceland, there are no trains or subway. People travel by car, on foot, or by bus in the capital. 83. One of the typical dishes of Iceland is kutmagar, a kind of pudding made of cod stomach filled with its liver. Sounds delicious, right? 84. The iconic liquor of Iceland is brennivín, and sometimes called svarti dáudi, which means black death. It is made from fermented potato mash and flavored with caraway seeds. 85. In Iceland, it is illegal to have snakes, lizards, and turtles as pets, and only dogs can be kept with a special permit. There are no problems with cats. 86. It sounds strange, but boxing was banned in Iceland until 2002, as it was considered to incite violence. 87. The highest peak in Iceland is Havannadalshnjúkur at 2,109 meters, located in the northeast of the Öræfajökull volcano. The biggest challenge is learning the name. 88. In Iceland, there are no mosquitoes. The only one that exists is preserved at the Icelandic Institute of Natural History and was captured by Gisli Margjaldsson in the 1980s in an airplane cabin. 89. Icelanders have the highest number of Nobel Prizes per capita in the world. Not because they have many Nobels, there's only one. Halldór Kiljan Laxness, the 1955 Nobel Prize in Literature, but because they have a small population. 90. The cliff at Latrabjarg Cape that houses millions of seabirds is the largest bird cliff in Europe. 91. Although Iceland is not tropical, at the University of Agriculture in Iceland, they maintain a small banana plantation. They produce bananas every 18 months due to the peculiar light cycle. 92. Vatnajökull is the largest glacier in Europe in volume and the second in area, covering 8% of Iceland's landmass. 93. Icelandic children place their shoes in the window of their bedroom every night for 13 days before Christmas. This is because they receive the visit of the 13 Yule lads, each of whom leaves a small gift. 94. Iceland is one of the few countries that has a genetic information bank of all its inhabitants, as well as a huge genealogical database. 95. The Harpa Concert Hall is the conference and concert hall in Reykjavik, and its facade is made up of many pieces of glass of different sizes and shapes that reflect both the sky and the sea. 96. Iceland has 3 national parks, including the largest in Europe, Vatnajökull National Park. Then there is Snæfellsjökull National Park and Þingvellir National Park. 97. Iceland has a high per capita number of cars, with 1.5 vehicles for each inhabitant. 98. In Iceland, it is common to divert the path of roads or alter construction projects to avoid affecting rocky areas where it is believed that houses or churches of elves exist. 99. The local museum in Ísafjörður is the oldest building in Iceland, dating back to 1734. In Iceland, old houses have the year they were built on their facades. 100. Icelanders love pilsur, Icelandic hot dogs. In Reykjavik, there is a famous street vendor because Bill Clinton commented that they were the best hot dogs in the world.